and other sports. I'll be
Opening day is only 4 days away now. On Thursday, it'll be my Giants against your Yankees
all right.
at Yankee Stadium. Looking forward to that. Um, the pitch clock is continuing to be a disaster. Oh, I need to hold on. Let me go get some headphones. I'm having a
Yeah.
sounds like I'm having
Share. Share. Okay. Create a post. That's all I'm doing. I'm sharing it to my community page. Over 500 followers, you get a community page. It comes along with it. You can lose a few followers. You don't lose the page. Nope. Live.
Isn't baseball going to start opening day soon?
Yeah, Saturday.
Really? Next Saturday?
This Saturday. Not
First.
next.
Oh, this
Thursday.
coming up.
Oh,
Okay.
Thursday.
Yep, Thursday. Giants and the Giants will be in New York playing the Yankees.
I'll be
Okay,
watching.
okay.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I'll be watching the Giants and the Yankees, and the pitch clock is still a disaster. Players are not getting accustomed to it, and that stuff is going to carry over into the regular season, and it's going to affect actual games that matter. And yet they're still pushing this garbage on us, even after the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, was tremendously successful without it. This without the pitch clock, with 3.5 hour games, had great crowds, had great viewership. The final between USA and Japan on Tuesday was the most watched baseball game ever, and this was a 3 hour, I
Wow.
think, 2 minute game, no pitch clock, a long game. But interesting that Chris Russo, who's one of Rob Manfred's biggest mouthpieces and probably is his biggest ass kisser and sycophant and cheerleader, was ripping the World Baseball Classic, and Major League Baseball, pays this guy a few million a year to be on MLB Network, and he was on not MLB Network, but was on another show ripping the World Baseball Classic, and I think that's no coincidence. I think Manfred was unhappy that the World Base because it was a complete repudiation of the pitch clock. And of course, Rob Manfred's strategy has always been to promote the game as this horrible thing that needs to change. What a great way to promote your game. He always has his mouthpieces go on and say that baseball is this horrible thing that needs change because the reason he wants the pitch clock, in my opinion, is because he wants a legacy. It's not about helping the game or getting more fans. It's about so that he can make his mark on the game, that he can be famous
Right.
and have his name and be talked about in the next 10 burns.
That's what everybody's about now. It's like they want fans on the asking. It's like, give me followers. For what? It's like, build my name up for what?
Yeah,
You
it's
got to
about
build it up.
and the World Baseball Classic was a complete repudiation of his beloved pitch clock, and I think that he's not happy about that, and I think that's why Russo was on ripping the World Baseball Classic.
Do you think they'll change the rules after this year if it's a disaster with all the,
That
people not
remains
liking
to
it?
be seen. What I do think will be the case is they will not use it during the postseason. I don't
Oh,
think
that's
we'll see it in the
interesting. Yeah.
postseason because it's inevitable. It's Game 7 of the World Series, bottom of the ninth inning. White Sox and Braves from Atlanta. Bottom of the ninth, Braves with the bases loaded, tied game, 2 outs, 3-2 count. Here comes the pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. We're going to the 10th inning. Oh wait, the pitch wasn't thrown before the 22nd pitch clock expired. Ball four, Braves win the World Series.
Ooh.
It's almost like the skate in the crease rule with the NHL, where Brett Hull put his
Yeah.
skate in the crease, he scores, and then they win the cup. It's similar, like it's making rules that screw up finals of hockey or baseball or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Major League Baseball will save face, and they will not use the pitch clock or the pickoff limit. They also have the pickoff limit now. They will not use. My prediction is they will not use either of those in the postseason.
That's better. Good idea.
Well, they shouldn't use them at all, but my prediction is they won't use them in the postseason. I think you're right.
All right, I spread it out. I just didn't do the Twitter feed yet. Oh,
I'll be right
I gotta
back.
do- All right. So what else is going on, everybody, in sports?
Well,
Any interesting acquirements in the NFL world since Steve is not here at this
oh
moment?
wait, DJ Chark.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions received DJ Chark. I saw that he went to the Panthers.
Nice. Well, you know, not everybody can stay on every single team all the time.
I know. It's just that, it's money involved, the salary cap's involved. Although I don't like when players just keep on leaving and coming after just a year or something.
But what's with Rodgers? I thought he wants to go to the Jets, and
I
he's
don't know what's
waiting to
going
fix
on
the
with that.
problems, but it's still unresolved.
I
It's
don't know what's
crazy.
going on with that. I don't even know why he said he's going to the Jets. I mean, you don't even have a deal yet to do it. I don't get it.
He must think they want him, but then he's going to be the boss and make sure they get all these different running backs or wide receivers
I
or whatever he
know.
wants.
Then some
I
of these
know.
players already signed to other teams.
Well, the Jets traded away Elijah Moore to the Browns for a couple of draft picks, I think, late rounders. But I think there was, shoot, I thought there was something else that happened. No, but it wasn't like a huge, big name or something like that. Maybe there were teams that are like I only know Bobby Wagner's back with the Seahawks for a 1 year deal after he was released by the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I could think of, but that's nothing like earth shattering. Let's put it that way. At least I don't think there's something earth shattering. I mean, other than the fact that the men's basketball, college basketball, doesn't have any number one seed in the Final Four because they all lost pretty much early on, and there's like these schools I never really pay attention to or cared about. But hey, you know what? There's like small schools that are doing it. Okay, that's great. But like nothing major other than you have hockey about to start its playoffs soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Not really big into hockey, but I'm into the seventh game. Goes to the seventh game. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It looks like
That's why I care.
the big excitement in Canada is, will the Leafs get to the second round? Because they're always heralded as this great team with all these scorers or whatever, and they always choke in round two. They can't win the second round, but they could shock
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. I feel like the Leafs, and what I've understood about them, they're kind of like in the or something like that.
You might have to repeat that because it wasn't very clear.
Okay, where'd he go? I don't know. Mid sentence, he's gone.
Well, he's driving, so he couldn't. Maybe he parked or something.
Okay, I tweeted it out. I shared it on Discords. Nothing much else that one could do with that.
Another question for hockey is, Connor McDavid is this massive superstar, but they never do well in the playoffs with him. It's another weird scenario. They have all the tools, all the scoring, but the goaltending is always a problem for these teams. That's why they don't win the cup. It's probably going to be the Bruins, but I've said that. Who knows?
Are the Rangers in it, or is it already too late for them?
I'm trying to think because I don't want to open a screen, but if you go to NHL.com, if in the top 8 of the conference, then they'll be in.
I thought everybody got to play. No?
No. The top 8 of each conference, but every leader of every division has to be in. But the people like the Canadians in Montreal, they're long out for months because they've They played badly for a while, and they're always
You know,
rebuilding.
this is what happens. We're just talking sports talk, NFL, and it dragged into playoffs and hockey are coming up, and I'm like, just talking. What
Yeah.
else is happening? What's going on in baseball?
Well, I already told you what happened in baseball. It's all a disaster right now with the pitch clock.
Oh wait, isn't it Artie Moreno still owning the Angels?
Artie Moreno, yes, he was going to sell the team, but he decided a couple of months ago that he wanted to stay put.
Uh-huh.
I wonder how Angels fans feel about that.
What do you look forward to this week besides the Giants and Yankees?
There's opening day for all teams is Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking forward to the Giants and Yankees, and I'm a Giants fan, so I'm kind of more.
You're going to call it, right?
Well, not officially, but I'll probably do some play-by-play on it online. It's not
Yeah.
official.
I'll probably watch and join possibly if you're doing that. Could be fun.
Nice.
It's a week long of being sober, no matter how much I've left because I'm saving up for Beacon trip.
Where's Beacon?
That's it's north of me, so it's a really big art town. There's a couple of them. Okay, there's like 3. One's across the river, so I don't have much access to New Paltz. I heard it's the party town. And so I got access to Beacon.
Been a long time since I've been to the United States. My passport lapsed 3-4 years ago.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a process. You have to fill it out and get a new passport and blah blah blah. One day I'll be back. What's up on the agenda in baseball? What about a prediction for which team is going to do the best?
I'll have my official predictions Wednesday. I'm going to be doing an official preview show for my show, The Insomniac Lunatic Fringe, Wednesday night. I haven't picked a time yet, but we'll have my predictions there and then.
People think the Blue Jays will do well. I don't know. I've heard talk about it.
I think they're a decent team. AL East is going to be pretty packed division. The Yankees. I think the Yankees are a third place team. Everyone wants to act like the Yankees are a championship team, and I'm sorry, Kenny, but they're just not. I mean, I think they're over 500.
I'm not acting that way.
Good. Most of the media is because they will never. Every year, even though the Yankees clearly don't have a championship team, they act like the Yankees are, and that stuff pisses me off.
Just like everybody acts like the Dallas Cowboys are going to be number 1. They're like,
yeah, because
they're America's team, man. They're the best, and they fail for 28th year of reaching the conference final. To win, you got to be in the conference final, even if you lose the game. To be in the game, you got to win the game before it. Right. And
well, the Yankees have at least won a championship more recently than the Cowboys have, right?
Well,
that's true, but it's still been like, what, 15 years?
14 years. 2009.
14. Going on 15. So, that's still almost, it's like a decade and a half, right? That's still a long time.
And the Yankees have been in the ALCS 5 times since in the last 13 years. They lost all 5 times.
Right. But at least they made it to the game before. Dallas hasn't even been in the round that gets you there.
Yeah.
They have been absent. It's like each new hot team or whatever quarterback just goes, later Dallas, and piles right through. It could even be Tom Brady, even old man Brady that's like 40 years old. Just maybe he'll get here next year.
Maybe it's Dak Shepard, not Dak's Prescott. Maybe
it never happens.
Clutch the guy. He's just not clutch. He always ends up on the sidelines looking sad and every year. Not that I care, but
oh yeah, the Cowboys got Brandon Cooks, but for a rather cheap trade. But I don't think that's really going to help them out in the end, really.
Yeah. What
But
do
this
the
one,
Yankees really need?
Yankees need more pitching.
Yeah.
And Thursday will be a fun matchup in Logan Webb against Cole and against Garrett Cole, but the Yankees need more pitching.
Maybe they could acquire more pitching before the trade deadline. They do have
They
that.
could, and that's always been the case. I said the same thing last year, but they didn't. They signed Carlos Rodon, who was the Giants' number 2 starter last year during the offseason. It was going to
Yeah.
the Giants would face him in the second game this year after pitching for the Giants in their second game last year. But since he's on the injured list to start the season, that unfortunately will not be happening.
That sucks.
That
If
does
he's on the
suck.
injured list, why did they sign him?
And there's some people saying that like they may have known that he had an injury issue. They signed him to a 6-year deal. And I'm just not that high on the Yankees. I think they're like an 85, 86 win team. They played way over their heads for the first month of the year last year. They were able to come alive and beat Cleveland in the ALDS last year to get to the ALCS. Again, they've been to the ALCS 5 times in the last 13 years. They lost all 5 times. They lost in 6 in 2010, were swept in 2012, lost in 7 in 2017, lost in 6 in 2019, and then were swept last year by the Astros. Of course, their last 3 appearances were all against the Astros.
I'll definitely watch the opening night just to see opening day. Just to see what it's like with the pitch count more. I find it at least interesting to watch, but I'm not a purist, and I'm not like that into
And
it.
you're not watching it because you're a fan of the pitch club. You're watching because you're interested to see how it works.
I like baseball as a sport as well, so it's not just for the change, but it will be interesting to see in regular season how it's perceived, how it works out.
Because I want to say that ESPN, the first spring training game that ESPN televised this year back in the first week of the month was the most watched spring training game on ESPN since 2016, and everyone's attributing that to the pitch clock, and probably rightfully so. But I don't think it's that people are a fan of the pitch clock; it's that people are interested, in seeing how it's going to work. And so when they're going to get a lot of viewership this weekend because people are going to be interested to see how it works, and they're going to say, "See, pitch clock's popular." But attendance is going to further go down this season, and because attendance was 64 million total last year. Their highest total was 79 million in 2007. And the reason baseball thought it needed to make this change, Kenny, is that all right if I kind of go on this long spiel here?
Yeah, you can go on. I'm gonna send an email anyways.
Here's the thing with Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball hit 79 million in attendance in 2007, highest ever. 78 million in 08, second highest ever. Then the economy, of course, at the end of 2008 went to hell. Everyone knows that. People were foreclosed upon. Long-time restaurants, stores, businesses shut down. And then in 2009, attendance dipped to 73 million as a clear result of that. And it was at somewhere between 72 to 74 million every year from 2009 to 2017. So when Rob Manfred took over in 2015, after 6 straight years of attendance in the 72 to 74 million range, down from the 79 million of 07 and the 78 million of 08, owners like, "Oh my God, we're losing fans. What are we going to do? We got to change the game to get them back." And the reason that, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in 2013, the way the game was played was on the field, it was fine. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They didn't realize that had everything to do with the economy. The economy went to hell. Games are too expensive to go to. It's too expensive to play. The reason that America's youth is into basketball is because you can afford to play basketball. All you need is a damn ball and a hoop. You can find a hoop at a park near your house. Baseball, you need a bat, you need a glove, and you need more than one ball. And if you want to play with other people, you're going to need more than one glove. That costs $50 to $100 in total. People can't afford that.
That's why
So,
hockey.
you have rich white kids playing Little League, and when I'm umpiring games, when I've umpired Little League and I've umpired high school, it's mostly white kids. It's mostly rich white kids who are playing, and it's disgusting.
Except Dominican, they get all those people because they go to U.S. and
Yes, well, they play stickball on the streets in the Dominican. If blacks played street ball on the streets here in the United States, the police would annihilate them.
yeah, good
I'm not
point.
trying to get political, but that's just the truth.
Sounds true.
That is true. But anyway, attendance. So baseball thought they had to change the rules to get the fans back in the game, and so they started tinkering with the game. And then at the end of 2017, after the Cubs won the World Series in 2016 and the Astros won the World Series in 2017, following years of mediocrity, which allowed them to stock up on draft picks. In the 17-18 offseason, teams started openly tanking and then openly engaging in a race to the bottom. And a lot of teams were openly going into 2018 trying to field the worst team possible so that they could have the worst record in all baseball so they could get a top draft pick and be the next super team 5 years down the road. And that became very open in the 17-18 offseason. 2018 was also the first year of this current style of baseball, which is nothing but home runs, walks, strikeouts, and pop-ups. Going back to rich little league kids, the type of swings you see today with them, like putting their back shoulder down and swinging up, trying to hit everything out of the park, even guys with the power to do so. That was invented by rich white little league kids 20 years ago, and that made its way all the way through the major leagues, and that's one of the biggest reasons baseball is unwatchable today, is because that's how they play the game now. And
it's not completely unwatchable.
Well, it's not completely, but this year with the new rule changes, they're saying it's the start of a new era. No, it's the sixth year of this current era. So you combine that with the rule changes and the open tanking, attendance in 2018 dipped to 69.
It's kind of like, Steven,
Yep.
because of people like Justin Bieber, pop music is almost unlistenable. I don't even like Taylor Swift. Somebody was playing some Taylor Swift on AMP the other day, and I'm like, yeah, she's not that good.
No, either. But it was 69.
I would go listen to the John Mayer version of one of her albums. Good. Somebody that's actually talented likes one of her albums and made his own version. Good.
They dated it also. Didn't John Mayer dated Taylor Swift?
Yeah, they did.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Who
that's
hasn't?
a good reason to do one of their albums.
I'm not a Taylor Swift fan anyway, so I wouldn't want to say.
I couldn't care less about her. And now she's not. She's been with the same guy for a few months.
I'm just saying,
years.
everything today sucks.
Yes.
More than it did yesterday. I'm saying that, I saw them play Wolfgang Van Halen's version of Van Halen. It's pretty good. It's better than Van Hagar, but it's not even close to Van Halen. But you can't expect anything to be like it was. It's not going to be. It's just going to move on, and maybe something really great will happen.
Something really great. Hopefully it will, but attendance fell to 69 million in 2018, 68 million in 2019.
I don't mean in baseball. I mean in anything that used to be really awesome. Maybe something new will spark up and be like, hey, man, look at this guy. He's
World Baseball Classic without the stupid rule changes, with guys from other countries playing the game the right way.
I'm just saying, maybe if you sit around, you'd be like, this guy's like a new MC, and he's better than the Drakes and all that. And then that's your, piece of gold in the pile of crap. It's like, well, everything sucks, but this guy, he's got a new hit record, and it doesn't suck.
Look at Billboard Top 100. It's a zoo of people that, disappear in a year. Or there's the Ed Sheerans who have very little talent, and everybody loves the guy.
I pay attention to other things. There's a guy on AMP that does new blues and R&B, and then will take any request. He'll play freaking Slayer if he's in full request mode. If you want, I once, when he ended the show, I showed up right at the end. And I said, "Play South of Heaven." He did.
My camera got unplugged. I'm gonna try to fix it.
But I listen to the new R&B and blues because I'm interested in what's going on, man. You gotta be on top of what's coming in that could actually be listenable.
Donald Trump claims that a song about him is #1 on the charts. I didn't see any.
Well, I'm saying that I haven't heard anybody play something like that on AMP. They play all the big songs in the world. People can claim this, people can claim that. Doesn't mean it's true.
Anyone. Why do you think so many people believe anything nowadays? Almost just
Okay.
because they don't trust anybody in positions of power, but not to turn political either. But I'm old
I'm
enough to remember
saying
all the
other
dark
Steven,
things.
people just accept bullshit. That's what they accept. Pardon my French, that's what they accept. They accept it and they just eat it and they love it. And that's what's acceptable to them. I'm less acceptable of that. I criticize pop because it's not very good.
Most of it, I agree, is
Right.
stuff I don't bother with.
We all miss the David Bowies and everybody else. Sometimes I even miss Madonna. Not often, but sometimes.
She's coming to town and she hasn't sold out for like a month. Her tickets are still available. And that's extremely surprising because she used to sell out in 20, 30 minutes or an hour.
Maybe people aren't buying into it.
Wow,
Maybe she's too old.
She's too old and she surgeries herself to look young and she looks ridiculous dancing and
Misfits even took their prices down. They probably realized we can't get this much for tickets anymore. They realize I'm still pretty good, but I'm not the Danzig of 20 years ago or so. That's what people realize. Hey, I understand, man. I would pay $60 to see them. I don't think I'd pay even more. That's what they're charging now.
I don't go to too many shows anymore because they're like 350, 400 for any decent act. That the seats are just like average.
Wu-Tang wasn't that much. It's like 100. Wasn't
Yeah, they're not as big as like vintage acts, from
sure.
Lionel Richie or one of those huge stars in the past.
Yeah, but they're big enough.
I know who they are. Yeah, I think I listened to them after you suggested.
They're
I do know a couple
They're a
of them.
phenomenon. Well, what's anything else you look forward to in sports, football, baseball, anything?
Well,
I
I'm
miss the
going to take
NFL.
What? What do you think will be, for instance, like home run leader and all that?
that. I have no idea predicting. I don't think Aaron Judge is going to come anywhere near to doing what he did last year, though.
Probably not. Everybody can be the same year, have the same numbers.
Yep.
Like not everybody can make.
That I cannot predict, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Like not everybody can make the same album.
All right.
It's all true.
I'll be watching the NBA more because once the hockey is playoffs.
Have a good night, Stephen. Thank you for stopping by, Rudderman.
I'll watch.
You're the expert. It's always a good time talking to you.
He's definitely a baseball expert for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He's the guy that predicted the Astros will win in 7. They won in 6. I mean, he was only 1 off the mark. It's pretty good.
I have to look up that garbage can clanging scandal on YouTube. It must be there, right? Like examples of that ching 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 to like predict the pitch and all that. I always wondered what that was like, and I didn't watch that year's World Series very much. Watched mostly other stuff. So who's the NBA leader? Who's doing the best? I'm not following it so closely. Who's the top team? How are the Raptors doing this year?
I don't know. I don't really follow.
Okay. I'll check it out. For sure, if you want to talk about anything, man, talk about music if you want, or sports.
No, this is more about sports. We have a listener. Snug Cat is in the house. I sent him the thing and I said, live, hello. Right. He is here. Not really into the NCAA basketball, but I might watch him passing. Depends where I am, what I'm doing. If it's on, I like the bar snug, I'll check it out. And I might watch. Depends I'm doing. I go out and promote sometimes. So if I'm like at Applebee's or something, wherever I am, I might be near an Applebee's today. If they're watching it and I'm having a drink, trying to get customers to go watch this, then I might go, who are you rooting for? I'm rooting for the same team. Right, so I'll join in and I'll talk about it and I'll try and plug stuff. Right, and I'll have myself a beer or Irish coffee and I'll just be chilling.
Is Gonzaga still in it? I saw a bit of one of their games, a few
I don't know.
minutes. Okay, so you're not following it that closely, like.
No.
It's amazing how these guys end up the NBA, and you don't remember that you saw them 3 years ago in March Madness some of the time, and they all just end up in the good ones. But I wonder what life is like for those that don't make it to the NBA and they just get depressed.
Sometimes I kind of wish I was big into it because I follow certain people online, right? And Tiki Barber, I noticed, was in a space of all about the Final Four and all that. I'm like, I wish I was big in that topic because I would love to talk to that guy about anything. It's the guy from the Giants.
Was
Tiki
he the
Barber.
one? There was a guy on Stern from the Giants that was promoting his business where if you have a party or something, he arranges for some sports star to show
I
up at
don't
the
know.
party, and I think
And
it was him.
Snug says Gonzaga is out.
Oh, they are. Okay.
UConn beat Gonzaga like the Zags stole something. All right, that's Snug. He's on top of it.
I used to watch Duke and Michigan State with
Mhm.
Chris Webber and all those guys 30-something years ago.
Oh, that was a different era.
Yeah, they broke my heart in the finals one year where I had a lot of money on Michigan and Duke crushed me.
Mhm.
So that's
Oh,
one of the
Snug is
worst ones.
now dropping knowledge. He's saying a lot of the guys that don't make the NBA go play in Europe or China.
But it probably doesn't pay well, right? I'm
Yeah, sure.
assuming. Probably. I'm just
Probably
thinking.
not. Well, it pays whatever it is, right? Not everybody can make NBA dollars, and they still want to play a sport that people play around the world.
Yeah, and if they go to Europe, they'll be able to, survive financially. I'm sure it's enough to live.
Yeah, probably
You
get
know.
themselves a nice house.
The big scandal in Canada is the initiation rituals for junior teams and young kids in hockey, where they do all kinds of nasty stuff to
You
initiate
ever
you in there.
seen Goon, the movie Goon?
I think I've seen part of that. I've seen that. Yeah.
It's on Netflix. Good movie. It shows you the process that the Goon type of player goes through before they're in professional hockey. It's quite a process.
Now they're cracking down on fighting big time because
Haven't they been for years?
yeah, but it's more. They're more intensely cutting down on it, like discouraging it more than they used to. Now, I mean, then you had 2 or 3 enforcers on every team. Now there's 1 or 2 guys maybe that
He
can punch out someone.
Snug says the Euro leagues played pretty well. Easy 6 figures. There you go.
Well, 6 figures. I'd love to earn 6 figures. I've
Yeah,
never
basketball
earned.
probably earns a little bit more than that in America, but 6 figures ain't bad for not playing in America.
Yeah,
You love the
then
sport. You love the sport, right?
yeah, for sure. A lot of guys go over there if they can't make it. It's better to make a few $100,000 than 30,000, right?
Right, then do nothing.
Wow, if you do nothing, you're going to sell insurance or something, and that's a pretty grinding business, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not much fun.
No.
We get an exhibition game every year in Montreal, an NBA exhibition year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to one. It was pretty full. Montreal actually has a big following of NBA, but
I
they've
saw
never got a team.
the New York Giants practice last summer. So they looked good. They look like a team that could probably make the playoffs potentially. They did.
Yeah, they got to the first round at least.
But they got to round number 2, and then it kind of, well, they had nobody to throw to really. I'm surprised they made it to round 2.
Who beat them the round 2? Must have been Dallas, right?
Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but the Eagles, well, they lost big time because they beat a team that nobody to throw to. Then they beat a team that had no quarterbacks. Then round 3, they play a team that has people to throw to. It has a great quarterback, and they lost.
Yeah.
Actually, they made it all the way to round 4, and they still lost because
Casey
they had it easy. They had it easy.
Well, that San Francisco game, that was like a deterioration over a few quarters. It was like they were done. They just one guy can't throw and the other guy's injured. It was like,
yeah. So I'm saying that the Eagles had it easy, and then here comes this Mahomes guy and his team. He's not going to let them have it easy.
He definitely shut them down, but it was close. Remember, they came back and
yeah.
His father was in the NFL, or was it baseball?
I don't know.
Yeah, his father was a professional athlete, just like Steph Curry's father was a professional athlete.
But he wasn't a star, right?
I barely remember him. He didn't stand out, but he was a player, was an average player, but obviously the stats, I don't know him off the top of my head. He was not like his son, but for sure.
I think we're all glad Archie Manning wasn't a star. Imagine if it's like, Archie Manning won his 2nd Super Bowl. He's now a legend that will live on forever.
I used to watch the Saints with Archie Manning. I'm old enough to
then we might not have Peyton Manning or Eli Manning being huge stars.
Yeah. The father was average, and I guess the sons were obviously much better. Although Eli was kind of one of these guys who just didn't, he wasn't great to me. He was good enough to win the Super Bowls, but there were so many bad years before and after those Super Bowls. That's why I always
That's
thought
true,
he was,
but I think he was still great. He's a really good sportscaster.
I've heard him, but would you say Drew is a better quarterback than his brother, or is it close?
You mean Peyton?
Peyton. Oh, I'm always confusing everybody. Yeah. Peyton and
he's probably all around better, and he's a great sportscaster also.
That second,
they're good. They sound good together. They cover Monday Night Football, and they work good together.
They do I've seen a bit of it. It's like a comedic type of shtick, right?
Yeah, and they also interview people. Pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit. Usually by 8 o'clock on a Monday, I'm getting a bit tired, but I do watch it when it's a great.
I'm a fan of it during the season. It's good. And
now
they also are in commercials together. They do all kinds of stuff.
The commercials, yeah, I've seen many of them.
Yeah.
The commercial king athlete has to be Shaq.
Yeah,
This guy was never turned down anything.
In everything, everything. He's all over the commercials.
He never says no. Give me the check. Right. Boom, I'm doing the ad. You know that he just had his hip replaced? I follow him on Twitter, and he showed himself in a hospital room because of all the back and forth for many years in basketball. I'm sure his bones are brittle.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a guy who just, it's funny, he does the general and the ink, the icy hot. I mean, just off his ads, he would be worth $50 million.
Yeah. Endorsements.
Barkley once said that he wished he had as many endorsement deals as Shaq. He's a gentle giant. People like this big guy, He looks like a friendly guy.
All true.
I'm sure if we met him and said, Shaq, you're the best, show me the rings, he'd probably do it, He'd probably be nice. But when you meet your big superstars, sometimes they're not so nice. But They also don't want to waste their time talking to people that are just fans all the time, you know. Okay. Beep. So today, is there anything sports-wise going on that is like going to be? Is there
It's
NCAA
probably
today?
more exhibition, spring training games, and I take a shower, go grocery shopping, and then promote a little. Get on a bus, hit a mall, and promote.
You're a hard
And then I,
worker. You're a
and then
hard
I
worker.
got the amp show later today at like 6 or something. I can move it up if I want.
You definitely are very devoted to your craft.
Yeah, I try and be.
I kind of am less devoted, but just because I don't have as much energy as you, maybe I should put more energy into it. But I'm trying here and there.
I try and find customers, find potential people that are gonna back it. Right.
Yeah.
So far, Snug is the only guy that's shows up. But that could change. You put time into learning stuff about it, getting facts, and going out and pushing it, and you'll find an audience.
Yeah, it's true. If you really put your work in, like I can see you do a lot of that. I take it less seriously, but it's fun. I obviously I tried getting into the pro leagues for the radio business, but I couldn't break some kind of imaginary line that seemed to be in front of me. But it's still okay. I stopped listening to Stern for the last few months. I got tired of him.
I don't listen that much to him, but this isn't really about him.
No, I know. But Reggie
Everybody
Jackson was on.
changes, and nothing's ever going to be the same again. I mean, if I had a time machine, I don't know if I'd go back and listen to his old radio. I would go see the Misfits in their prime before Glenn Danzig was like 60 something years old. See him at like, or even older, see him at like 20 something years old before they even have records out in like 1979. That's what I wish I could do.
I'm sure they've come to my town, the Misfits, but I never saw them. I always get them mixed up with Killer Dwarfs for some reason. Why do I mix those two groups
I
up?
don't know. I've never heard of the Killer Dwarfs. Sound
No,
like a
they might be
band that
Canadian. I don't know, but they have a following. If you look them up, they're not
I'm sure lots of
obscure.
bands have followings. Like Cannibal Corpse has a following. Doesn't mean I want to go listen to them.
No, I know.
Right.
I'm just. I think Richard Christie was in that band. He was
No,
in
he was
Ice
in
Earth.
Death.
Yeah,
He was in
and
Death.
Ice Earth.
Yeah,
He couldn't have.
He was in Charwald of the Damned. That's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
a good
that's it.
band he was in. They're enjoyable. I
Yeah,
enjoyed them.
they came here, but I didn't go.
Well,
But
I saw them at Metallica's Music Fest, so it was right there on a small stage. I could have walked away or enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed part of it. Then I went on to another stage, and
was it
another
Richard?
stage, and another stage.
Was Richard drumming at the time? Was he
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
group?
He was behind the drums.
He couldn't have made a lot of money because he used to say that he lived in a storage locker for a few
Wow.
years. He
I think
actually,
Stern, he made some money.
yeah, he's making 100 or something American money. He's married with 2 kids. His wife is a massive Kansas City Chiefs fan, and so is he. And the
Yeah.
Eagles, he loves the Eagles and Casey,
Yeah.
both.
You
So
can like both.
yeah, well, except they played each other. I don't know who he was rooting for
Yeah. He probably rooted for the Chiefs.
because he's from there. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the
hold on.
Chiefs had the best chance of winning.
Kansas and Kansas City are not the same. I always have to remember that. It
Yeah.
always sounds like they're the same, but they're
All
not.
right. Any sport you look forward to in the next week?
I like to watch the hockey because it's the time where they settle on who gets in the playoffs. So it's fun to watch teams claw to the lowest level to get into the playoffs. and there's tanking going on with this Connor Bedard, who's like some kind of phenomenon, and the worst team gets him in the draft. So teams are tanking left and right to get him.
Yeah.
Montreal didn't tank enough, so they're just bad, but they're not getting the guy.
I hope Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and even Kyle and everybody at the network likes this replay. Thank you for letting me do this show. So just giving thanks to everybody that watches the replay and anybody else that watches the replay. Enjoy. That's all I'm saying.
They should, for sure.
Right. I look forward to the Giants and the Yankees, like Steven was saying. Should be a good game. And he's right about the Yankees. They need pitching. Yet they continue not dealing with that section of their lineup.
Who owns the team? Is it the son of Steinbrenner?
Yeah, the Steinbrenner sons, and they have done a bang-up job. I mean, their dad was a legend. George knew how to win, and he won multiple championships over multiple different decades. Right, and they've been there once. Right.
You know that the most wins, franchise wins in all four sports is the Yankees, and number 2 is the Canadians. 24 Stanley Cups, and I think the Yankees won 25 championships, right?
27.
27. So that number has got to be adjusted. I mean, the Canadians are way behind them. 3 games, 3 champ, and they're not winning anytime soon. I can tell you that.
How many appearances do the Canadians have?
Oh
overall?
God. Well, they had one 2 years ago when it was all screwed up with all the COVID stuff. They ended up getting in based on the teams they had to play were limited to Canadian teams. It was a whole mess, but they lost the final. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I know they won 24 cups, but because they talk about it 20 hours a day in the radio that they won 24 cups. So back in the glory days, they won a lot. In the original 6 teams.
Wow. That makes sense. Anything else happening?
Now they're not. They're rebuilding with Martin St. Louis from Tampa Bay Lightning is the new coach. Other than that, I'll probably watch the NBA.
Well, Tampa Bay didn't they win a few times?
Yeah. Martin St. Louis came from the 2004 Stanley Cup win. He was there with Le Cavalier.
So he has experience.
Well, he won a cup, and he was a pretty good player, above average. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame or not, but he's definitely got 300-400 goals. So
that's pretty good.
And he's now the
nobody's going to have Gretzky numbers, #1 goal scorer ever.
Yeah, but if Connor McDavid, he's got like 60-something goals this year. If he keeps going, he could end up. He's pretty young. He's like 26, 27, but the Stanley Cups, he seems to me not getting to that level. The team is not getting.
Not everybody can get there. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do in any sport. Be a championship. Everybody from every town, every city wants their team, no matter what sport it is. Like you got to go all the way.
Except me, I go against my team. Because I'm a contrarian.
Well, everybody else is like, they gotta win the cup, like they gotta win the World Series, man. It's gonna be the Eagles. They gotta win, and no.
That's why I don't root for my home team, because everybody else does. Everybody roots for their team, but I'm contrarian, so I go the other way.
All right.
As a kid, I rooted for my teams, but then I grew up. I'm jaded and twisted and. A little screwed up. And
I root for my team, but then sometimes reality has to sink in, and I'm like, all right, not happening. Who looks like they're most likely going to win? Then I root for them.
Yeah, I'm happy to see other teams win.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just be like, well, this team's got to win. Well, maybe they don't have the pitching. Maybe they don't have the defense. Maybe they have the wrong quarterback. Maybe they're just don't have the right blue line to make it.
What's the biggest drought in baseball for World Series?
Maybe they don't have the right guard or center. and maybe they don't have anybody that could shoot free
Yeah,
throws.
look at
that
Brooklyn. They kept
you got to
buying
have.
guys and they still couldn't win.
I'm just saying, you got to have these things. You want to go all the way, you got to have the pitching. You got to have good
Yeah.
defense and a great quarterback surrounded by people that know how to win. Coaches, you got to have
It's a mix.
a great blue line for hockey. You got to have great basketball players. You don't, then no you. Right, that's the way that's going to go.
Also,
I
you
guess-
need a break. Sometimes in a big game, you don't get a break. The ref calls something and they lose.
Yeah.
You know, that's always
Yeah.
the way it is.
All right, I'm going to end it for now, man.
Well, thanks. I'm glad I stuck around. And
All right,
it was a lot
thanks
of
for
fun.
stopping by in the chat, Wendy, from originally from the Howard Stern show.
Wendy's there. Oh, I'd love to
Yeah,
talk
she's
to
in
Wendy.
YouTube, and thank you for stopping by. Wendy, the Soul Adult, stopped by today, and Snug the Cat, who is always here on the Facebook chat. Thank
And
you.
I got
for all,
cats
for
running
checking.
around behind me the whole time.
Well,
Kids and cats.
I'm just saying, Snug the Cat is a fan of the whole entire network. He is always there at some point. He's asking us questions before. See, is he still on Facebook chat? Let's see. Any more questions? Nope. There's no more questions. Let me see if Wendy had anything else to say.
Hi, Wendy. I love you. Don't let Howard manipulate you. You're not a slow adult. You are not. You're very smart.
All right, and don't get manipulated by an Asian guy. That's all I got to say on that. I won't get much into it. All right.
Asian Pete.
No, a different guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't
know
want to
who-
go into him. That's YouTube drama. Let's not
Okay.
bring that to the sports world. We can talk about it on my show. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you, Ed. Thank you, the Stevens. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you, Errol Marks and the network for letting me do this show. I'll see you next week.